Good morning, everyone. I want to do a quick video here on mud flood, what I'm going to refer to as catastrophism, this repeating cycle that we have here. I've kept my opinion back because I haven't really looked at the evidence, and I know how evidence can be tampered with, faked. I have dealt with fake artifacts my whole life, fake scripts, fake artifacts, so I'm very suspicious of anything and everything. But I'll tell you what I do know is I know alchemy, and I know what I'm looking at, and I have no problem accepting what people call catastrophism, or this repeating cycle of catastrophe on this planet. I call alchemy. And it's part of nature. It's part of the way this place works. And the whole point of alchemy and hermetics is to know thyself, because you're part of nature. We're consciousness that has been introduced into nature, and it's a repeating fractal that just repeats itself over and over again. And it does this. The purpose of alchemy is to bring out the best of a thing, to purify a thing. Now, this is what I see happening based on the script. And I'm not sure how to take it or really to explain it, but I'm going to give it a shot here because of the way alchemy works. What is the outcome? Where are we headed? Why are they hiding everything? What is this all about? It's about nature and what nature is doing. I have no problem with mud flood because we're in water world, and water world, the evidence they're getting is coming. This Tartaria is part of Europe, and Europe runs water world. And opposite water world in Pisces is Virgo. That's mud world, right? It's mutable earth, changeable earth. All this change that happens here, earth, water, air, and fire, the catastrophism happens 4 ways. And it happens in particular areas that have to do with the mutable cross. The last time, our flood, that happened on the cardinal cross. There's no doubt in my mind about that. It happened on the cardinal cross, and it happened in the age of Cancer. And it happened by a shift on the moon. To me, that one was done off cycle. It wasn't supposed to happen then. There are man-made catastrophism, and then natural catastrophism that just does it by itself. We're coming to the age of the fixed cross in Aquarius. This is a game changer. We get more information and understanding about that in the Nag Hammadi, because they refer to the unshakable race of humanity. They explain the fixed cross to us in a way that helps you understand some of the biblical terminology, like before Messiah comes, Elijah will come to restore all things, right? We're coming to a time of the creation of a new heaven and a new earth. It's going to be stable. We're not going to be in this mutable age anymore. We're not going to go through this cycle of catastrophism through the next 2 ages. That will not happen again until the age of Sagittarius, and that's when we'll enter. The Earth will be at that point. Earth, Capricorn, will be cleansed by fire, and that would be Sagittarius. So we're looking at about at least minimum 5,000 years. It is called world without end. The next stage is called world without end because a world is an age. It's just a period of time. And Aquarius and Capricorn are one age. Aquarius never ends. It just goes right into Capricorn. That's all that means. It doesn't mean forever. There's no such thing as forever. The only thing that's forever is this constant repeating cycles within cycles. And to understand the cycles, you simply must understand alchemy. And it's not that hard. It's actually written in the heavens. Alchemy, I would have never understood alchemy without astrology. And I would never have understood astrology without alchemy. They're the same thing. And they have an unspoken language. It's built on an unspoken language of symbols. So, you know, I don't know the particulars of mud flood, but hey, we're in any time on the mutable cross, especially on the feminine axis, which is water, Pisces, and earth, Virgo. And then you have the masculine axis, which is the fire of Sagittarius, and then the air of Gemini. And it's very possible that the flood could have happened in Cancer as it moved into Gemini on the mutable cross. A catastrophe coming into the mutable cross in the age of Cancer. And they just pushed it a little early. It's quite clear when you pick through ancient text at little innuendos and sayings by some of the great writers, what they're alluding to. Especially if you understand the terminology that's used in alchemy. Because it's a different language. They use words with different meanings than what we're accustomed to. You know, I have a lot of new people on my channel, and I'm getting a lot of, you know, snooty remarks about the way I'm using my words and what I'm saying, especially about the NPCs. But you're not understanding the context of my terminology. My thing is language. So I'm a Capricorn, so I'm going to pick my words very carefully. I'm going to analyze and think about what I say before I say it. It's very intentional. Sometimes I can come off harsh. That's not intentional. It's just I'm a Capricorn with Saturn, the Sun, and Mars in my first house. That's just the way I'm going to be. I'm not arrogant either. I'm actually quite humble. But I am authoritative. I am dominant. We all are. Everybody on the cardinal cross is that way in their own manner. We each have our variables and differences because our planets can be in different positions of power. And we can understand ourselves, but we can also understand nature and what's going on. When I tell you it's everything, I mean it's everything. It's science, it's language, it's like when we go to school, they divide us. This is math, and this is English, and this is science. But in alchemy, they're all one thing. This is astrology, this is art, this is geometry, this is biology. In alchemy, they're all the same thing. When you're talking about one aspect of it, you're talking about the other aspect of it. They've programmed us in such a way when they shove us into a school that they divide it all up, and they tell you that English doesn't have anything to do with math when every alphabet on the planet in their original state were alphanumerical. A was 1. It's not that way anymore. When I tell you, I built computers, okay? I can build a freaking car. I built computers, and I understand parameters. I understand you can only get out of a thing what you put into a thing. I understand circuits. I understand memory. I understand processing power. I know, this is not my speculation, but when I came into this body, I remember coming into the body. I remember before I was born into the body. I came into the body, in my opinion, we all do. We come through naturally anyway. We come into the body naturally through the right eye, through the sun and the sky. We're light. Everything here is based on light and sound. This I know. And I also am aware that the sun is mechanical in nature. I mean, I used these very words when I was a small child, and I'll use the same ones now, is that I did not get a human, affectionate, it's conscience, there's no doubt. If there's AI, it's the sun. Now, I've learned a lot about the sun. Sorry, I'm allergic to coughing, and I knew I was fixing to sneeze. The sun is mechanical in nature, and I understand computers, so I have come to understand the sun. It's kind of a mix of what they show us between Tron, the master control program, and the Matrix, where you see Neo fly into the sun, right? That's going in through the outdoor or out through the indoor, right? Neo flying into the sun, because I've thought about that many times. If the sun is the way in, is the moon the way out? You know, we have a lot of propaganda out there, the Saturn Sun Matrix and all of this hype, and you know, I don't even know how to come at that. It's just so ridiculous. Is when you understand alchemy, you understand how backwards that is, right? They have twisted everything. They have flipped alchemy on everybody. That's why you can't see that everything's not connected. They do what they do. In a computer, you can only get in what you can put out what you can put in. People are that way. Dogs are that way. I used to take my son. He had disabilities, so I put him in this little private school. And it was a ritzy little private school. And I wasn't a rich person. I struggled to pay that tuition. But our dog would ride with us to school every morning. And, you know, they were just kindergartners, first graders. And when I would let him out, the dog would jump in the front seat. Well, my car had one of those electronic seat belts. When you got out or in the seat, it just automatically closed over you. And one of the mothers came up to me and said, where did you take your dog to have it trained to ride with a seat belt on? And I'm like, I didn't. You can only, I said, dogs are no different than kids and computers. You can only get out of them what you put into them. So I think about what's in this place. We can only get out of this place what we put into this place. The sun, now learning alchemy gave me a whole new, and astrology gave me a whole new perspective about the sun. Because I understand it to be mechanical. I understand it like Tron to be the master control program. And it can initiate in anybody, any little Agent Smith, if for lack of a better terminology. You know, we're given this evil moon stuff. And even in and when you're reading in scriptures, you got to understand which book. Now, the Bible's exactly opposite of that. What the Bible is, it's 66 books to start with. We look at it as one book, which is the way we should look at alchemy. And everything, it's all one. But within that book, we've been told that it's one God. And it is. It's nature. It's one God. But it has many different faces. It has a face of fire. And that face changes. It's cardinal, it's fixed, it's mutable. It has 12 different faces. And then there are variables within those faces. This information can be known and understood. If you take each book of the Bible, isn't one of them's talking about even the Torah, the 5 books. Oh my goodness, just the Torah alone, it's complete in itself. Within that is everything. We haven't been taught to read. The scribes scribbled the scriptures and gave us Bible, Bibble, Babble at Babylon. When I broke that, everything opened. When I understood what they did to the languages, they didn't just divide the tongue, they divided the information. They divided Osiris's body. Osiris is the whole of the knowledge. And it was cut into pieces. And everybody around the world got a piece. And it's been like a scavenger hunt going, and we see who's ahead of the game. And rightly so. You understand why Europe is ahead of the game in this age is because they run mutable water world. Of course, they're going to have mud flood. Mutable earth, Virgo on the same axis with mutable water run by Europe. It makes perfect sense to me. But I'm not ready to jump on that bandwagon and waving the red flags. They lied again. Of course they lied. They lied about everything. Why wouldn't they lie about this? This is no big surprise. This is not a shock. I'm not shocked with flat earth. I'm beyond flat earth. I'm freaking eyeball earth. Come on board. This place can be whatever we can imagine it to be. To me, it's a big alchemical experiment. And it repeats itself. And we can pick up on that repetition. We can become the philosopher's stone. Turning lead to gold, Saturn to the sun. Time, Saturn is time. Do you know what that means? Turning Saturn to the sun or time to the sun? The sun tells the time. We can time travel. If you can get this information, nothing is kept from you. And the mystery schools have had this information. And then when the empire, Jupiter, Europe, the age of mutable water, Pisces, conquers this world age of Pisces, they go all over the world, and they've put Osiris's body back together. And they have the phallic. Remember, you couldn't find Osiris's phallic, so they created one. In one tale, that's the same thing as the stone the builders rejected, because they couldn't find Fomalhaut. So what did they do? They chose Sirius instead. Fomalhaut is the stone the builders, the masons, rejected. Jesus was the son of a carpenter. There's no wood in the desert. That was a starving family. They went to Egypt for 12 years. That's where you go to become a builder, to learn geometry, the Pythagorean theory, alchemy, astrology. He went through the 12 schools. He went on the hero's journey. He went through the 12 houses of the zodiac. And that's what we're all doing. And we do it in our lives. Our astrology charts tell us this is your life. This is your alchemy. This is your part in nature. This is your purpose and reason for being here. And just the knowing of that makes, one, the burden easier. But it's a journey that has to be traveled alone. I can't carry everyone's crosses. I'm merely handing them to you. I can put you on the right cross, and I can tell you what I know about it. The rest is up to you, what you do with it. You can lay it down and walk away from it. You can pick it up and take it. And before you know it, you can take that cross, come down off of it, my mother taught me this. I'm gonna tell you, I come down on my mother a lot. I really do, because as a child, she was a shitty mother. But I have learned the greatest lessons of my life from her. And this is one of them. It's about the pity party. Stop feeling sorry for yourself, Levette. Come down off that cross. We need the wood. Why don't you come down off that cross, take that wood, build yourself, cry you a river of tears, build yourself a bridge and get over it. That was another one. You know about that? We are, that Aquarian in me. I've got my Venus and my moon in Aquarius. I'm going to self-martyr my own heart and the way other people see me. I'm my own destruction. Nobody done this to me but me. That's my way of saying the same thing she said. But I get it about the wood. And that we can take this place and we can actually build it to what we want it to be. But we're so busy focusing on the oppression from the government and religion and this group of people and that group of people and identity politics and the whining and the bitching and the pointing of fingers and they did it, and that's just enough. We're getting nowhere with that. But I tell you something I've found that can get us somewhere. And I'm really trying to bring it down to a level that I can explain it. And I think I can do that in astrology. And it's a subject we don't know. Another one of those liberal arts that were taken from the general masses. Only the elite get this information. And then, you know, they're even manipulated. They lie to each other because they divided the knowledge. The different Masonic lodges, you have, when they lump them all into one and say Freemasons. No, they're different lodges. Matter of fact, there are just thousands, but they come into a factor of 12. They done this thing based on alchemy. So really, if you want to know the enemy, you need to know alchemy, because this whole thing is dualistic. And sometimes they appear as enemies and then they work together when they need to. And you need to know the particulars, the who, what, where, when, why, and how. And you can know all this like reading the damn Sunday paper if you simply understood alchemy. You're never going to really understand astrology without alchemy. You're never really going to understand anything. Now, I considered myself quite brilliant when I was younger. I did. Because everybody else around me was dumbasses. I was always the top one in my class, no problem. I didn't have to take books home and do homework. I didn't have to do shit but just show up. And I'm going to get an A. That's all I had to do. Frickin' show up, open my mouth, I'm going to get an A. So, I did wear that little, I thought I was smarter than you cap. But now that I have my new hat, I have my alchemical hat, I call it the zodiac in my head, then I understand it now, and I understand my place. And I'm very humbled by that. I identify with it very well. And it is the essence of who I am. And finally, I don't need somebody outside of myself telling me who I am, why I'm here, what I need to be doing. And everybody can have this. I would like, in my opinion, we should give this to our children. Why are we hiding this from our children? Our lives could be beautiful. Now, about the beautiful life in the coming age. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. People are waking up to this. They're waking up to pieces of it. The unfortunate fact about them waking up is they're only waking up to pieces and parts, and they're under the assumption that they have found the whole. I have found truth. We can only know pieces of truth in this fragmented place that we're in. Back to building the computers. We have to our hard drives, when we download information and we do stuff on the computer, it puts it in different places on the hard drive, and everything gets all scattered. It pulls it out of this folder, makes a copy of it in that folder. We got duplicates. We got crap all over the place. And you have to defragment your hard drive. You have to put everything back in its place. And when you do, it shows you the original, right? Like when you downloaded Windows for the first time, you've got everything is just tight. You've got all this extra room now, all this extra space. And everything moves faster. It's optimized. It's efficient. I'm really good at optimizing my computer, making it overclocking the CPU, hyper-threading it, and making it run. It's very fast. I want to push the button, click, 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 click. I don't want no lag. I want a top performance machine. And we can do this. Same thing here. The coming age, we're going to do it. There's no doubt in my mind, because I understand alchemy and I know what's coming in Aquarius, and it's the age of knowing. And we're going to understand this alchemy, and we're going to work within it. And this place will become stable. There'll be no more. We're coming to an age of no catastrophism. No natural disasters. But to get there, we've got to go through the fire, the water, the earth, the air. They're all coming into play. They're all mutable. This mutable cross has to be done away with. And we're moving to a fixed knowledge, it's the age of the fixed heavens. It's the age of fixed air. No more wandering stars. That has such a profound, deep meaning when you understand the epic nature of the wandering stars. It's like everything is going to come to a halt. The merry-go-round is going to stop. Where the earth is going to be set back in its place. I do believe this is the higher goal of the mystery school, is they want to put the earth back in its place. There's another group that's hijacked it, and they don't want it to go back in its higher place. They don't want it to move at all, because when it does, they lose power. Now, they thought they had the cat in the bag. They forgot about the MPC, the Master Control Program, which is the sun. So they started at the sun. The sun is the Master Control Program, so they must control it. In comes simulated sun. Now, because our subconscious runs this thing, they have to manipulate us to create said sun simulator. Doesn't matter. I'm just sitting back watching the show. I know what's going to happen. They are assuming. But I know Aquarius for factoid, in my own mind, in my own belief, for my own personal self. I don't care who believes it or not. I know where we're going. When the sun moves fully into Aquarius, there's nothing they can do to stop that from happening. It's going to stabilize itself. They think they have to do it. It's going to stabilize itself, because it's built into the fractal. It's built into the program, and they can't stop it. No man-made, natural, it doesn't matter. It's the next age, because it's coming from an outside source that's bigger than this solar system. It tells the sun what to do. And then the sun puts a planet in charge. This age, it was Jupiter. Good old Peter the Jew, Peter. That's who's in charge.
and it's water world. And it's upside down. That's why Fomalhaut's in the southern sky from the northern hemisphere. Up, south, to me, southwest is up. And when it's set right, Fomalhaut will be in the spring. That's when this place will be so stable, so beautiful. It won't just be here, it's the fixed heavens. It's like I don't even know how to explain it. I want to explain it in a measure of time. My mind keeps telling me it's like the clock hits midnight and everybody thinks it's doomsday. Well, this is going to be when the rooster crows and everybody gets up. The real sun is coming. Here comes the sun. We have manifested a simulation, and they convinced us to do it by the same propaganda mud flood, giants, all of it, all of the catastrophism, because we're in the mutable age. They know we can do this. And I can't stress to you how important 2020 solstice is, with the Saturn-Jupiter conjunction with Pluto, because that's where the manifestation for the next 20 years is going to come from. I'm trying to get everybody to do your shadow work. Put your demons down. Set your weapons down. Walk away from the fight. Don't pick one side or the other. That's the trick. Don't react. It's problem, reaction, solution. Your only way out of that scenario is to don't react. Don't respond. Don't give your energy to it. Don't manifest it. Start living your own dreams. That's how you take control of your cross in your life, is to manifest your own dreams. Your life is like a scavenger hunt. It's scattered in the heavens. Go find yourself. You can do that many ways. It's taught all over the world. Taoism. Everybody teaches it. Look within. The answers are within, my friend. They're blowing in the wind. We're airheads in the age of Aquarius. They've already given us the candy. They make the joke about the airhead. But let me tell you, there's another definition for airhead, and it's spelt H-E-I-R. And the head is the king, the crown. He is the head, the heir to the throne. Go within, know thyself, and know everything around you. It's all. I'm going to tell you what this is like for me. It's like Highlander, when you can hear everything all at once. You can see it all at once playing out around you. You know, suddenly you know why people just come into your life and why they disappear. You know, you can begin to see what's around the next corner, because you watch the patterns and you see how it all fits together. It's like being at the opera house. Once they play the song over and over and over again, you're singing along, right? You're tapping your foot right to the beat. You know what's fixing to happen next. All right. This is longer than I intended. I hope I got my point across. There's my opinion on mud flood.